Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and these are my New Year's is a little late for that. These are my 2026 resolutions. I did a video last year of resolutions, 10 resolutions I had for myself in 2025. I filmed it at the beginning of the year, as one is wont to do, and then I kind of did a recap in my end of year summary. I'll link to both those videos down below, kind of covering how I did, as well as a bunch of other year-end things. And I like the idea. For myself, I like the idea of trying to think through what are things that I want to improve upon, develop upon in 2026, whatever those things might be. And this is that video. I'm going to be going through 10 things in which I want to in some way either improve or maintain going forward in 2026 and see how they all fare out. If you want to see how last year went, again, you can watch the original video or just the end of year recap where I go over the resolutions and how well I did. Before we dive into those, just a note that this channel is sponsored by Allplay. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of things, anything from the shelves behind me to their games. They just had Enchanted Ivy over on Kickstarter or still active on Kickstarter, depending on when this video goes up. But they have a whole bunch of things you can get, from board game bags to board game tables to a variety of games, both their own and their partners. With that, let's go ahead and dive into my resolutions. Now, these are in no particular order. I mean, they're in the order that I wrote them. That's the order they are in. Which also means that the first two are kind of recaps from last year. One that I did and one that I didn't do. One that I want to do again, and one that I failed and want to strive for this year. So resolution number one, I want to play at least 30 of the 35 games I set for myself as a challenge. Now, I don't know the order these videos go up, but basically I did this last year, and I'm doing the same thing again this year, where I filmed 3 videos going over 35 games that I want to play, that I want to learn and play. In some cases, I've played them like one time and I want to like dive into them again. For the most part, these are 35 new to me games. Well, some of them are expansions, but we'll get to that. But there are 3 different videos. Again, I don't know when all of these videos go up, but effectively, from those 3 videos, there are going to be 35 total games. I want to play at least 30 of those 35 games, which means I need to get ahead of it, because last year I got to 29 out of 30. Again, technically it's out of 35, but I specifically give myself the grace of I won't play everything. Last year I got to 29 out of 30, and I started way too late. I got a few done at the beginning of the year, and then kind of the rest of the year went by, and then I got to the last 2 months of the year and rapidly tried to catch up. And I did pretty well, but not to the full amount that I wanted to. This year, I already have that start. I already have like 7 or 8 of them played by now already. I filmed those videos already. I'm prepped to go. I'm diving into it with like trying to get them out of the way before the end of the year hits me. But also the mid-year tends to be very busy, so we'll see how things go. But this is play 30 out of 35 games. Number 2. This is the one I failed at last year. I had a month that went pretty well, because I started doing a vlog series halfway through the year. That lasted for like 5-6 weeks, and then chaos happened and life happened and the vlog series disappeared. Maybe it'll come back. I always said I'll do it as long as I can, and then I'll just stop, and that lasted like 5-6 weeks. I hope to bring it back at some point, because I like doing this little, like, you know, a clip a day talking about a subject of the week. That's not my goals though for the year, because I try to be particular about my goals. I didn't want to overburden myself. Like, in addition to the 30 out of 35 games, at first I was putting down, ooh, I'm going to do a 10 by 10 challenge, and I'm going to do this and that, and I realized I was trying to, like, overburden myself with too many things that would be competing for the same time. And so I specifically didn't really do a lot that would categorize as extra work for myself. So I tried to be mindful of that. But, because balance is a unlisted goal, but it is a goal nonetheless. But either way, one of the ones I missed out from last year was getting off of Facebook and getting off of Reels. Both those, I think last year I put them as 2 separate goals. This year, because it's a recap from last year, I'm just doing 1 goal for it. I would really love to get off Facebook this year. I had a lot of success with a lot of my goals. I built up some habits that I'm still sticking strong with today, and I'm really happy about that. But the Facebook thing, I managed to kind of get off it for like a month when I was doing this vlog series. And same thing with Reels, I managed to like greatly minimize my time. And I still go to them. I'm not as badly as I did before. I managed to go off for a month, so I always did have some degree of improvement from it. Like, I'm a little less addicted to them. But I just find that they are my go-to. I'm bored, I'm distracted, I'm going to click on these things. And I really want to eliminate those things from my life. I do not think they are healthy. And this is not a judgment on you. This is a judgment on me. I am all for it. You want to sit down and play a video game for 2 hours? Be my guest. This is me talking to me. But don't get distracted on Reels for what was supposed to be a minute and a half, and suddenly you know it's like 27 minutes later, and all you've been doing is scrolling through meaningless Reels. I do not like that at all. I don't do it all the time, but I do find myself doing it, and I would really like to stop. So that's goal number 2. Number 3. get my review backlog down to under 100 games. Again, if you watched my end of year in review last year, I kind of talked about this. I have a review backlog. I do cover more games than the amount of games I accept, so I am slowly making progress in it. I made the progress last year on this, and I want to get down to at least 100 games. I can't remember the exact count, but I got down from like around 200 to around 150. I would like to do that again, getting another 50 down. Now again, that doesn't just mean reviewing 50 games. That means whatever amount of games I say yes to covering, I have to review that many more games to get that number down, which takes time. But I believe, like at first, I briefly put this number as get to down to 75. I was like, you know what? Let's be realistic. I think 50 is always just going to be games come in and go out. Like I think 50 is just like the baseline, but I want to get down to at least 100 this year and maybe 50 the year after, and that's kind of the baseline that I think I'd be comfortable with. Because again, I'm not going to review. It's not like a game comes in and I immediately play it the next day. There's always going to be some, what's the word for it? Churn? I don't know. Overlap? Whatever you want to call it. Number 4, maintain my diet and weight. And diet's a relative term at this point. It's a kind of a lifestyle, but I want to see if that maintains. Last year, one of the goals I had was lose 10 pounds. I managed to lose 40 pounds, which was great because I had spent the past few years trying to lose anything and just slowly getting bigger and bigger as I was trying to lose 2 or 3 pounds. But I finally made progress last year. I talked about this in several videos. I did 2 full videos covering weight loss and things that I'm doing and all that. And I do very much believe this is a lifestyle choice. I am off my diet in the sense that I've hit my target weight, I'm not trying to lose more, and yet I still maintain those same food choices because I just like the food that I eat. I feel like I eat a ton of food, I eat like a king, and I do so while eating macro-friendly food that supports my weight loss maintenance. But there's a big difference between having been here for a few months now versus carrying this through for a year. I have dieted before. I know how easy it is to slip. Now again, the difference between the past and now is in the past I was always itching to get off my diet, and now I'm not. I like the food that I eat, but I still have that, what's the word for it, that temptation of a good cookie is put in front of you. And even though I can eat all these delicious foods that fit into my macros and my diet and my calories, sometimes a good cookie is just a good cookie. So I know how easy it is to slip and to start making decisions and changes and be like, you know what, it's fine, I'm in control. And then the scale creeps up a little bit and you're in control for, a few pounds heavier and then a few pounds heavier and you're in control the whole time. I've been down this road several times. I have lost weight successfully and I have gained weight back unsuccessfully. Well, successfully, but I don't want to in the past. So I would love for in 2026, I'd love to end 2026 at my target weight or lower. Like my target weight right now is 154, and I'd like to end there or be there, something in that range. Longer story, if I start doing creatine supplements at some point, creatine is one of the most widely, recognized supplements as being a good supplement with no issues. But if I start doing creatine supplements, which I might do, that actually allows me to have my target. Longer story if you get into this stuff, but basically creatine adds water weight to your muscles, so you would gain a few pounds on that. So we'll see. If I do that, then I have a few pounds adjustment around it. But basically I want to maintain my lifestyle and diet. It's possibly from my perspective right now, it is the easiest goal I am setting for myself on this list. But I put this on the list because I have to recognize that my perspective for right now is that's the easiest. I don't know how things will play out over the course of the year, and so I want to maintain my weight loss throughout the year. Number 5, finish a single epic video game. Epics might be the wrong term, but just a big video game. And I have a bunch of video games that I'm in the middle. Now, I don't play a ton of video games, and most of my video game time is usually spent on filler things that I could play 10 to 15 minutes at a time, whether it's Slay the Spire. Currently, I'm playing through a Deep Rock Galactic Deep Rock Galactic... What's it called again? Survivor, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I'm playing through that. So I've been playing through a bunch of these kind of distracting games that I could play for 10, 15 minutes at a time, because usually that's my video game time. But here and there, I dive into these bigger games, and I've been in the middle of them for a while now. I've been in the middle of God of War, in the middle of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Ghost of Tsushima, Hogwarts Legacy, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank. I'm in the middle of 7 Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm in the middle of a bunch of these games where I started and never finished. And I have finished some of these games. The first Spider-Man game, I finished that. They're great. Lots of the Assassin's Creed games, I have finished. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I decided to do everything in the world, and that means I'm never going to finish it if I take that approach. But we'll see. I've been playing a lot of these games, and I would love to pick one and just finish it. I would love for that to happen this year because I don't know why I put this as a goal. I think that not that differently than board game campaigns. Sometimes I really like something, but it's just so easy to get distracted and other things are priority. And before you know it, 2 years go by and you haven't played that game in 2 years. Like God of War, it's probably been a year since I played God of War. The others I've jumped in and out. Ghost of Tsushima is probably the one I was most recently involved with. I want to pick one of these games. I don't care which one it is. I would like to finish one of these games in 2026. This is possibly the most fun goal that I have because, and I have board games on this list too, but board games always have a mental association with work because for me it is work. So even when it's a ton of fun, there's still a like, ooh, I make content out of this. Video games are free from that. I specifically don't stream video games, or at least very, very infrequently, because I want to keep them pure and safe from like the idea that in any way it's attached to views or anything like that. It is my thing that I do when I have time, aka never. Number 6, I want to finish painting my house. I started painting my house when I moved in like 2 years ago, and I did a few things right away. And then kind of a year went by, and then I did a bunch of, like, I did like the kids' bedrooms and got to those finally, and that took a while, but I finally did it. There's still other areas of the house that I have not gotten to, and I want to. There's like the living room, the dining room. These are like kind of core areas where I spend a lot of time, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. For some of them, I've even bought the paint to do them, and I just haven't done them. And again, I know how easy it is for the things that aren't super important to be deprioritized because I'll do it next week. It's not super important. I'll do it next week. It's not super important. And before you know it, a year and a half has gone by and it wasn't super important. And that entire time I could have been living in a nicer looking area that I made my own. In 2026, I want to finish painting my house. There's a bunch of, I don't even know how many rooms there are. There's at least 2, the living room and dining room, the upstairs hallway. There's like 3 areas, I guess. Maybe there's a bathroom I want to paint. Whatever the areas are, and I don't mean like touch-ups. There'll always be touch-ups, like some ceiling areas I want to get to. That's fine. But I mean the core rooms. I want to finish paint them in 2026. That is one of the goals I'm setting for myself. I don't know when it'll happen. Probably December because like everything else, I will push this off until I'm like, gosh darn it, I have to do an end of year recap. I want to get to at least a bunch of these goals, but I'd like to finish painting my house. Number 7, kind of a tangent to the video game one. Commit to and finish at least one board game, a solo board game specifically, that's legacy or legacy adjacent. Whatever those is, whether it's Sky Tier Horde campaigns, whether it's Metal Gear Solid, which I started and then never really finished. I need to review it at some point, but I played the first 2 tutorial missions and never touched it. The Xia Legend of a Drift System solo campaign, Santorini Riddle of the Sphinx. Some of these I haven't started, Xia. The rest of them I've started them all, but haven't gotten them. Whatever they are, I would like to pick at least one solo campaign or campaign adjacent. It could be Kingdom Rush, Elemental Uprising, or any of those. I want to pick one of these, similar to the board game thing, and just finish at least one campaign. I play a lot of things, and not something I'm doing for work, something I'm doing because I want to. Like, I mean, granted now it's work, but I want to do these things. I don't know which one I'm going to pick. Kingdom Rush wasn't even on my list, but that is tempting. But so is Xia. I was leaning towards Xia. I don't know which one I'll get to. But I just know that I enjoy board games, shockingly enough. And it's so easy for me to start them. And similar to video games, before you know it, I'm doing something else because something else wants my attention. And then a year and a half goes by and I never finish that solo game. So I want to pick one and knock it out of the park this year. Number 8. Put together, this is a Gamefound goal for myself, put together at least 2 reports or initiatives that add a lot of value. And this might sound a little weird because like over the course of a year, I'm going to find 2 things that add value. This is specifically based on my own personal, I guess my job at Gamefound. In 2025, from all the things I did in 2025, and a lot of it is maintenance stuff. A lot of it's just reaching out to creators and talking to them and guiding them through either onboarding, feature issues, whatever it is. But there were 2 things I did in 2025 for Gamefound that were specific reports I put together on a data-focused approach to how the platform does, that have been really compelling in terms of helping bring creators to the platform because it's just good data. It is good, compelling data that is convincing, and it's not like, ooh, here's a bunch of campaigns that did well. It's like, it's a good data-driven approach. And I really enjoy that process. Like my old job, before I went full-time board games, my old job is I was COO, I was Chief Operations Officer for a company that did e-commerce, and most of what I did was internal reporting, projections, things like that. It was all data-driven, and I really enjoy data. And so I want to put together at least 2 more things like that in 2026. I don't know what they'll be. I don't know. Like, it's not always easy to find like something that really resonates, but I want to find at least 2 things. Again, this isn't the day-to-day. This isn't like, ooh, I found something nice or did something nice. This is like 2. I want to have, like, the same way in 2025, I happen to have 2 really useful things that I continuously use, that the entire team uses. I want to find something similar like that in 2026, because I take great pride in doing things well, and things that add value is in that umbrella. Number 9. This is a goal I set for myself a few years ago, and I did it, and I'm doing it again this year. I don't know how it'll go, but we'll see. But I want to learn a new game every single day. So that means, and to be clear, because the last time I did this, I got flack for it because of wording. I don't want to learn a new game every day. I want to learn 365 new games in 2026. That might mean a game a day, it might mean 2 games one day, no game the next day, but overall, across the course of the year, I want to learn 365 new games. And I specifically structured it as learn as opposed to play. Most games that I learn do get played. Like right now when I'm filming this, it's currently January 21st. I already have 24 games learnt this year so far. I'm currently 3 days ahead. And from those 24, I've played 22 of them. Most of the time when I learn a new game, I am inherently then going to play it shortly after. But just for my own tracking, it's a little easier to track the learning than the playing. So we'll see how things go. But I want to learn a new game every single day. Now, Board Game Arena does make this a little easier, because it means if I'm running a little behind, I can just play through a few Board Game Arena tutorials, then dive into a game of those, and that's always fun to do. But I don't mind that. I just like learning new games. I like seeing what's out there, and most of the time I'm going to turn towards games myself, the unplayed games, my personal copies, review copies. Most of the time I'm going to do that in this process. But Board Game Arena exists to fill the gaps, and I like learning those games too. In general, already I try to play every new thing on Board Game Arena as they come out. Some I get to, some I don't. So this is just adding to that kind of internal goal. And one of the things I like about it is it represents a good distraction instead of Facebook. I like using BGA as the thing I pop to when I just need a break for 2 minutes. I need that dopamine hit, and I don't want it to be Facebook or Reels, so I'll go take my turns in a few BGA games. But again, it's not really specifically BGA. Like from those 24 games, I think maybe 3 or 4 are Board Game Arena games. Most of them are in-person games because I need to play those anyway. I need to learn those anyway, so I turn to those when I can. And lastly, number 10. This might be the hardest one. I don't know. I want to get up on time. And don't get me wrong, I don't sleep in a typical sense. I run on very little sleep. Well, very little is relative, I guess. I run on a little sleep. Specifically, I generally go to bed around 2 a.m. every night. And I generally get up around 8 a.m. every day. But I'd say it's between 8 to 9 is when I get up generally. That means I'm running on between 6 to 7 hours, usually close to 6, and sometimes I sleep in till 6:30, so till 8:30 or 9, at which point I'm running on close to 6.5 or 7 hours of sleep. This isn't about getting more or less sleep. What this is about specifically, and I don't know what your schedule is, I know what mine is. I have an alarm that's set for 8 o'clock, and then it's set for 8:10, and 8:20, and 8:30, and 8:45, and then 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock is, I know, the final alarm. The amount of times I get up at the first alarm is 0. Usually it's the second, third, fourth, or fifth alarm that get me up. I don't sleep through them. I just take them as okay, well, now it's important to get up. And I don't like that. I feel like I'm basically, instead of making a decision, like I could just make a decision, sleep till 8:30, get 6.5 hours of sleep, but don't interrupt don't interrupt yourself along the way. I just have this hope of getting up at 8, but I have the leeway of getting up later. And so depending on the day, I take advantage of that leeway, and I don't like that. I would rather just give myself the extra half an hour and enjoy it properly and fully and allow my body to be fully rested. So my goal specifically is not to get more sleep, not to get up at a specific time. It's more that I want to get out of the habit of going through a series of alarms until eventually one of them is the one that I take as the important one. Whatever the important one is, I should just follow that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a crazy person. I'm not going to go down to 0 alarms or 1 alarm, whatever. I might drop it down to 2 alarms or something. I don't know how I'm going to handle this because I don't know if I cut out the alarms or if I focus on the habit of it. But this is something I'm going to be starting. And again, we're already most of the way into January at this point. I haven't started this one yet because it only occurred to me today when I was trying to round out the list. But that is something. I was trying to think about what are things that I don't like about my life. What are habits I want to change? And I don't like that habit. I don't like the habit of just sleeping in through multiple alarms until eventually one is important enough to get up. And so I like to change that. And so that's one of my goals for 2026. These are my 10 goals. These are the goals I'm setting for myself. Some of them are just things I'm already working on. Some of them are things that I specifically did for the sake of this video. Some of them are more important, less important. They across a wide variety of gaming, health, general habits, all of these things. I enjoy setting goals. I find that sometimes it's very helpful. The whole reason I have a 200 game count now that I didn't used to have is something concrete about, okay, well, every time I add a game, one game has to leave. Having rules sometimes boxes us in a way that in some cases could be unhealthy, but in other cases it could be very helpful, allowing structure and goals to help define and move us forward. And so this, for me, is my 2026 goal list. And we'll touch base at the end of the year and see how things went. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.